I know everyone thinks that their family is weird, but let me tell you about all the crazy stuff that happened to me last year. Then you'll realize that your family is probably pretty normal. I'm Ellie, and I'm just a regular 17-year-old girl. I live with my mom, Carol. My dad died when I was young, so it's always just been my mom and we're really close. One day, about a year ago, I needed to find some old clothes for a school project. I was studying textiles and needed some old clothes to upcycle. My mom was out, so I couldn't ask her for any, but I thought there might be some in the attic. I hadn't been up there before, and I was surprised how much stuff there was. I found lots of boxes of her old stuff. As I was looking, I found some old photo albums. I opened one and had a look through. It was pictures of Mom when she was young, only a bit older than me. It was so cool to see these pictures. I'd never seen them before, and Mom never spoke about life before I was born. I wondered why she kept the album in the attic instead of the house. Then I saw some pictures of when she was pregnant. It was weird. She looked much younger in the pictures than I thought she would be. She was 41 when she had me, yet here she only looked about 20. Then I realized she must have had a baby many years before she had me. I turned the page and saw a picture of her holding a baby dressed in pink, but it wasn't me. There were pictures of this baby growing up, and as a child, I had an older sister. By now, I had forgotten all about finding old clothes. I took the photo albums out from the attic and carried on looking through them. When Mom came home, I confronted her with the albums. When she saw them, she looked so shocked. She started shouting at me for snooping through her things. I asked her if she had a baby before me, and she said yes. Before I was born, she had a girl called Melanie, who was her first child. She lived here until she was 18. Then Melanie did something terrible and ran away from home. That was the last time Mom had seen her. Mom grounded me for going through her things and said she would never talk about Melanie again. But I couldn't believe I had a big sister, and Mom had never told me. I was so angry at my mom that I didn't talk to her for ages. I kept thinking about what Melanie could have done to make her run away. Maybe she was an arsonist or shoplifter, but whatever it was, I couldn't believe it was so bad that Mom had never told me that she existed. I had a right to know. A few days later, Mom was cooking dinner, and I mustered up the courage to ask her more about my sister. But when I mentioned her, Mom got so angry she knocked the pan of spaghetti all over the floor. She shouted at me to go away and to stop asking questions. I ran to my room and locked myself in. I realized that if I wanted to find Melanie, then I would have to do it myself. I went onto the computer and searched for Melanie Harding. I found loads of Facebook profiles of people with that name. I scrolled through the pictures looking for the right one. Then I saw her. She had blonde hair and the same bluey-gray eyes that both Mom and I have. It was her. It took me a while, but I managed to drum up the courage to send her a message. Hey, my name is Ellie. I'm looking for a Melanie that I'm related to. I wondered if that is you. I would like to get in touch. I pressed send. The next day, I kept checking my phone to see if she had seen it. It said that she had read the message, but she didn't respond. I felt so weird. Why wouldn't she want to get in touch with me? Then late the next night, I got a message back. Hi, yes, I'm that Melanie. I'm sorry I've never been in touch. I just thought it would be easier for everyone that way. Anyway, I hope you are well and happy. M. I was so pleased that she responded. Over the next few weeks, we sent messages back and forth, talking about each other's lives. She told me that she worked as a receptionist at a doctor's office in the next town. She lived with her boyfriend, Mike, and 2 cats. We had loads in common. We both loved strawberry ice cream and Disney films, and we both hated spiders. I didn't talk to her about our mom or ask why she left, with the conversation being so good. I didn't want to rush into anything serious, even though I was dying to know. Then one day, Mom found out. I had left my phone downstairs in the kitchen, and Mom had seen a message from Melanie pop up on my phone. She shouted at me for going behind her back and threatened to ground me. But I shouted back and told her that she shouldn't have lied to me and that she was a terrible mom. I grabbed my bag and stormed out of the house. I knew where I had to go. I wanted to find Melanie, so I caught a bus to the next town to find her. I didn't know the name of the doctor she worked for, so I just went from one office to another asking about Melanie. Then I walked into one and saw a woman on the phone. She looked like an older version of me. It was her. I stood in a corner and waved to her. I thought that she would be pleased to see me, but when she realized who I was, she looked scared. When she got off the phone, she walked up to me and asked me what I was doing at her workplace. I told her that I wanted to surprise her. She told her colleagues that she was taking a break, and she took me to a coffee shop down the road. When she sat down, she told me that I shouldn't have come looking for her. I felt so crushed. I couldn't believe that I had found out I had a sister, only for her not to want anything to do with me. I asked her why she left, and she said it was because she knew that Carol would be a much better mom than she could have been. I wasn't expecting her to say that. I stood up, knocking my chair over. People in the cafe turned and looked at what was going on, but I didn't care. Wait, I don't understand. Does this mean you're actually my mom? I shouted out. Oh my God, what do you mean? Melanie said. She tried to get me to sit down so she could explain. I don't think she wanted to make a scene, but I didn't care. I shouted at her to answer my question. Yes, she said. I'm your real mom. I don't get it, I shouted back at her. My mom's Carol. Melanie shook her head and told me the truth. Carol is actually her mom, not mine. I couldn't believe it. The woman I thought was my mom all my life was in fact my grandma? I don't believe you, I screamed as I ran out of the cafe crying. I ignored Melanie running after me. I never wanted to see her again. I caught the bus home in tears. Why would Melanie say such a horrible lie? When I got home, I saw a police car outside of my house. Oh my gosh! While I was out, something had happened to my mom. The front door was open, and I ran inside to see a policeman in the lounge, and my mom sat on the sofa crying. I ran in and gave her the biggest hug and asked her what was wrong. She told me that she was so worried about me running away, she had called the police. Oh, when the police realized everything was okay, they left. Mom and I had a long talk that evening. I told her what Melanie told me, hoping Mom would tell me it was all a lie. But she shook her head and cried. She said, I was now old enough to learn the truth about our family. She told me that when Melanie was a teenager, she had got involved with the wrong people and had got addicted to drugs. She had even stolen money from her. She moved in with her friends, and Mom hardly ever saw her and couldn't help her. Then one day, Melanie turned up on her doorstep with me. I was only a few days old. Melanie said she couldn't cope with me, so she left her with Mom. That was the last time Mom saw Melanie. I couldn't believe Mom had lied to me. I ran upstairs and locked myself in my room. I didn't know who I was anymore. I refused to speak to Mom, and I blocked Melanie on Facebook so she could never contact me again. However, I couldn't go on with my life like that. I had tons of questions that needed to be answered, and the more that passed, the more I felt the need to talk to her. Eventually, I unblocked Melanie and got back in contact with her. I told her I really want to know about her past and why she's never tried to contact me through all these years. But for a start, it's enough that we are open to get to know each other and see where it goes. That was a few months ago. I was finally able to forgive Mom for lying to me for all these years. I realized that even though my birth mom couldn't be a good mom to me, my grandma was the best mom anyone could ever wish for. There was no way I would still be mad at her. My relationship with my birth mom is still developing. She apologized for how harsh she was to me in the past, and she promised me that she hasn't taken drugs for a long time. Letting her in my life wasn't easy, but I can't say that I'm not happy that I met her. Not only that, but my mom has let her in too, and they're making up for the time they lost together. I could see from the way she behaves that she regrets the past, and she's trying hard to regain our trust. Today, I am sharing this story with both of their support as they're sitting beside me. I love them both, and I understand that circumstances were not in their favor in the past. If anything, I try to stay positive and think of my story as the girl who gained two moms in her life.